welcome to Good Game. I'm Bajo.
And I'm Hex.
Hex, there's only a couple of episodes left for the year, but we still have so many massive games to play. I feel like I need a clone of myself. I just need more time, Hex. I need more time.
I say we sleep when we're dead, Bajo, or, you know, when they kick us out for Christmas. Tonight, 2 reviews of 2 sprawling sequels, starting with the open-world hacktopia that is Watch Dogs 2.
Plus, we get our creep and our stab-on in Dishonored 2. Two big sequels that do everything better than their originals. Exciting times, Hex.
Yeah. Now, Bajo, last week in the show we had a chat about the newly released PlayStation Pro console, and this week we have another new console?
Yes, although you'll be hard-pressed to get this one to run at 4K. Maybe 4 kilobytes.
Ooh.
Nintendo has released the classic Mini NES, a smaller replica of the original NES with 30 old games hardwired in. It's obvious this little box is designed to attack our nostalgia, Hex, and it's working, damn it.
Yeah, it's a pretty cute idea, and we wanted to get one to have a play with, but it's sold out everywhere on the day of release.
And of course, the internet has gone crazy over it. There are even people just selling the empty box online for collectible reasons, I guess.
It's madness. I was so looking forward to an 8-bit weekend, Bajo, but alas, it wasn't meant to be.
That is the way the cartridge crumbles, I guess, Hex. But we should get on with the show. Can you name the game for this week?
Watch Dogs 2 continues the hacker franchise that projects a not-too-distant future where no one's data is safe, where your personal information can be exploited at the whim of sinister corporations.
Thanks for the hand.
Citizens of the digital age, welcome. Home thought they could fool you. They sold you a system to monitor your homes. Home is selling your habits. If you don't control that information, someone else will. DedSec has given you the truth. Do what you will.
In the first Watch Dogs, you played as boring white guy vigilante Aiden Pierce,
who hacked with a vengeance in a solid but average open-world shooter.
Yeah, it was an interesting concept, but it just felt a bit soulless, didn't it? Now, set in a fictionalized version of San Francisco, Watch Dogs 2 does its best to inject a little more life into its setting.
Following the capital's guide to forced obsolescence.
For starters, the lead protagonist, Marcus, is much more likable, with, dare I say it, a personality.
You know what I'm thinking? We cut our own version of that trailer. And that car is gonna help us do it.
Oh, but Hex, we don't call him Marcus. His hacker alias is Retro.
Oh, yes, sorry. This time around, you follow a group of heaps elite hackers who have formed a kind of anonymous-inspired organization called DedSec.
Welcome to DedSec.
Marcus's first mission is to prove his mad skills to DedSec by pulling off a righteous hack.
Josh! Okay.
Then he's accepted into the group, a cast of characters that sport a range of quirks from LED headgear to colourful side ponytails.
I'm Satara. This sweetheart is Josh, aka Hot Sauce.
Yo, you're hot sauce? Yo, man, I loved your frat house hat. Real talk. Thanks.
This weirdo's Wrench.
The needs of the many.
And this Casanova is Horatio.
What's up, brother? What's up, man?
It may not be set in the 90s, but there are scenes from this that could honestly have been pulled straight from the 90s cult classic film Hackers.
I was zero cool.
Zero cool. Crashed 1,507 systems in one day. Biggest crash in history. Front page New York Times, August 10th, 1988. Yo, man, this is zero cool! Oh, shit!
That's far out.
There goes MIT.
I'll make it up.
Yeah? How?
I'll hack the Gibson.
Hack the planet!
Hack the planet! Hack the planet!
Shut up and get in the car.
Hack the planet! Yeah. Hack the planet!
All it's missing is a rollerblade chase sequence.
Yeah, it's also cringy, isn't it? But you have to hand it to Ubisoft. They've tried really hard to make this relatable. The gang's hideout even sits beneath a tabletop gaming store.
Yeah, and look, I know they're trying to be respectful of geek culture, but just don't talk to any of the NPCs in there unless you want to feel like you're being mocked.
So, I rolled a 12 and just barely made a hit, but it was enough. My paladin was down to 1 life before I was able to heal everyone with a prayer for divine intervention to my deity, Arneson.
That's not even the worst of it. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the hip new generation slang word of the summer, coolosity.
Hella cool. Coolosity.
Ugh, cringe. In saying all of this though, you kind of just have to get on board. I mean, compared to Watch Dogs 1, at least this game has character. DedSec is an organization you actually do feel a part of and a sense of allegiance to.
Tell the cops I said that shit. But cheers to us.
Yeah, you have to embrace the cheese.
Why not? We should probably move on to the gameplay.
Probably.
Watch Dogs 2 follows a GTA-style city map format where you'll follow a series of story missions hacking for DedSec.
He just hit a cop!
As well as a handful of side hacks and tasks to help raise the profile of DedSec and gain them followers.
Started out as just a trickle, then boom. The numbers haven't stopped climbing. This is a good target.
The idea being, once you gain enough followers, you can go after the big bad corporation and take them down.
Better tweak their algorithm, I say.
Already on it.
A refresher on why they're bad: the invasion of privacy on personal data means a health insurance company can track what you eat to raise your premium.
Yeah, or a bank could track your everyday purchases to decide whether they're going to approve or deny you a loan. Most of DedSec's actions are mischievous and will see you stealthily gaining access to properties by bypassing security systems and hacking into servers and so forth.
Then you can have some corporate fat cat unknowingly donate a large sum of money to a charity or something.
Sent and confirmed.
Yo, bitch, it's Bobo Days.
No. No.
It's modern day Robin Hood kind of stuff, and it makes you feel good about what you're doing.
Yeah, we criticised the first game for making Aiden out as a bit of a murderer. There are guns in this game. I feel like a bit of a fuss would be made without them. But you are encouraged mostly to just tase guards instead and put them to sleep.
They do wake up after a while though. But given most of these missions are designed around stealth access puzzles, it's more fun to try and take the route with less death, setting proximity traps, and really only getting into a gunfight if absolutely necessary. It's refreshing to have an open-world game like this have so many non-lethal options.
Yeah, I also feel like the hacking puzzles have been significantly developed in this sequel, giving you more to do, more complicated ways to try and gain access to objectives. Would you agree?
Yeah, totally. I liked all the connection puzzles. And the fact that half the battle is just getting into the building. There's so much to be exploited. Aerial platforms, suspended platforms, security bots.
Yeah, I love driving those aerial platforms around, because as long as you stayed high enough, you wouldn't aggro anything. I mean, are you telling me there's nothing suspicious about this? No one cares, you can drive them around for days. Don't mind me, officer. Nothing to see here.
I think my favourite thing though was this little remote control access device. You're given countless opportunities to use it, sending it through air vents or holes in a fence. Off you go, little guy.
Someone's going to find it for sure. DedSec's going to find it.
Yeah, that was great. And apart from being able to bypass security systems, you can also send it in to steal data for you. Just don't get spotted.
Say that to my face, Howard.
Check your corners.
Too late, man. The hacks are already underway. Coolosity.
Stop saying that. In typical Watch Dogs style, you access everything you need for mad hacks via your phone, navigating the city using noodle maps. Car chases, of course, are another big part of the experience.
Stop your vehicle!
Yeah, and the street environment can still be hacked to help you escape the cops by setting traps and messing with the traffic as you're on the run.
All units, suspect is still in the vicinity. Let's find him.
And you have a music player on your phone if you want a sick soundtrack to underscore it.
Just be up yourself and don't say no. You're gonna light up yourself. 'Cause I said so. You what you gonna do?
Music always sets such a great tone for these games, doesn't it? I'm a bit of a 90s punk rock fan myself. Rock out as you tear up the city in a fast car.
See, I disagree. I feel like flashy cars are just going to get you into trouble. All you need is a solid sedan or maybe a hatchback, something to get you from A to B.
Don't worry, it'll be fine.
Inconspicuous, then pair it with the perfect classical accompaniment for a bit of class. And I'm the same when it comes to threads, man. Keep it low profile. Damn, that's a sensible sweatshirt.
Sometimes I don't think you get the point of these games.
Hey, it's my fantasy.
I thought the AI was good overall. They're still a bit random, getting upset at you for being in their way when you really aren't.
Really? Come on! What the hell is wrong with you people?
But they give the city that sense of living, breathing realness that you want out of an open world game like this.
Yeah, like witnessing a couple have an argument over reading a map, for example.
Jesus, give me a minute.
I'm not trying to stress you out, but can we just ask someone?
You want to read the map?
It's great stumbling across that stuff. Or a bit of sunset yoga, very on trend.
And as you upgrade skills, you also get abilities to single out which NPCs have a fair bit of cash in their bank account for you to steal. Nab that ability, then wander through a rich neighborhood and watch the dollars roll in.
Yeah, and morally you also have access to little bits of info about each NPC as well, so you can make the call as to whether or not you think it's okay to steal from them, if you want to delve that deep.
There are a few elements that feel a bit clunky. Characters still have to do that awkward dance to get into position for a conversation.
It's something, right?
This whole place is something.
At the time of review, the seamless online multiplayer where you can invade other people's worlds and they can invade yours wasn't completely functional, but we did get a few player hacks in.
Yeah, there are some online modes that we couldn't test out, like a bounty hunt scenario, for example, but my favorite is still just those player hacks. They're so exciting. To be going about your business when you're suddenly invaded by another player who starts hacking your data.
Talk to me, Ratio. What's going on? Primate is leeching data from you. Find whoever's doing it before the transfer completes. Look for anyone acting strangely.
It's just thrilling, isn't it? I mean, there could be anyone. Gotta find them.
Yeah, it's great. And vice versa, just trying to hack someone without being spotted. It seems like it should be easy, but then suddenly it's like all the cars in San Francisco are nowhere to be found. And you know when you've been spotted.
And then the cops get involved. Oh, it's tense.
I'm looking at illegal use of firearms.
So, Watch Dogs 2, a worthwhile sequel, Hex?
I think so. A lot of lessons were learned from that first game, and I think making the sequel a lot more tongue-in-cheek was absolutely the way to go.
Yeah, I totally agree. And the quest storylines were a lot more interesting too. At one point, you even team up with a celebrity who's been taken hostage by a Scientology-style religious group.
Welcome to the 5th level of the New Dawn, and congratulations on your spiritual ascendance.
The way they've tried to parallel our own world is spot on.
Absolutely. I mean, the game is a work of fiction and doesn't take itself too seriously. But it never lets you forget that this level of Big Brother-style exploitation of personal data could be a very real threat one day. I think the game hits the right notes. Not to mention the lead protagonist is African American, which is awesome, and why aren't more games pushing for more diversity? But Watch Dogs 2 even features a trans character. I have to say, hats off to Ubisoft.
Yeah, and you know, the first game really suffered from that hype train that it was on, so I'm so glad this one kind of lives up to that. Obviously, nothing can compete with Rockstar's GTA in the open world arena.
Ready to rock it?
Yes, sir.
But I think the way they've developed the story in this sequel and the implementation of the hacking puzzles this time around sets it apart enough that it doesn't really have to compete. And it is refreshing being in a big open world game that's actually so beautiful and not dirty city streets. So I'm going to give it 3.5 stars.
Bajo, I thought this game was the definition of coolosity. Whether that's a good thing or not, I'll leave up to you, but I'm giving it 4.
That house is built on lies, and it's time for a confession. Man, Open Wounds 3, that is a modern classic.
Classic.
My first gaming love was probably Syndicate from Bullfrog. There's just something about that game that I really loved. It was the combination of the research and the technology along with the, you know, at the time, I thought world-class visuals, and I played hours and hours of that game. So it's one of those that I always wish that EA would go back and do a remaster of the original Syndicate, because that's the one I could play over and over and over again. Yeah, it's weird. It's just one of those games that sticks with me just because it was different. It was different than anything else I'd played. So I'd played things like, obviously, XCOM and Ultima, the Ultima series, and a lot of RPGs, and to me it felt like an action RPG that was a little bit different. Hold a gun to my head and tell me what's Peter Molyneux's best game, I thought it was Syndicate by far. So I love the stuff that Bullfrog did. Most of their stuff was fantastic. So yeah, that's the one that really sticks with me.
Please, put that...
In times of magic, betrayal, and conspiracy, sometimes the only way to survive is to crouch a lot and get stabby.
Is someone there?
Someone's shooting at us! Your meddling will cost you everything!
Welcome, Lady Emily Caldwin.
The first Dishonored, released in 2012, was a great stealth game, and the closest thing we've had to that classic Thief series in a long time. Well, aside from the actual Thief reboot in 2014, but that was more of a miss than a hit, I think.
In fact, I'd totally forgotten that game even existed, Hex, so thank you for reminding me. You know, I was a fan of the original Dishonored, but I also felt like it was a bit overrated. And before massive fans of the series start tweet hating me, I think Dishonored 2 is one of the best games I've played all year. They made everything better. They did it, Hex, they did it!
Yeah, and best of all, it isn't a rescue the princess story like the first game. In fact, this time you can choose to be the ass-kicking royalty yourself. The game's prologue has you playing the now Empress Emily Caldwin.
All hail Her Imperial Majesty.
Corvo Attano, the last game's protagonist, has been training her to fight so she can protect herself from would-be assassins.
When trouble does finally come, you're ready to fight.
However, Emily is being set up or framed, which is a common theme for the series. A serial killer is targeting Emily's enemies, and so naturally her and Corvo are increasingly under suspicion. Then, when her long-lost aunt turns up to challenge her and take her throne, all hell breaks loose.
Here you get to choose to play as either Corvo or Emily. Whoever you don't choose has the fate of being frozen in 18th century carbonite.
It's a dark and gripping start, isn't it, Hex?
Yeah, and the game doesn't muck about before forcing you to make difficult decisions and get your stealth on.
I wonder what I'm dealing with.
Hey, who is... Bring your head...
You aren't going anywhere!
Shit, heel.
Finish her!
Corvo is more the classic Dishonored experience. He's much better at taking out single opponents quickly and then retreating to the shadows. Emily is more about control and dispatching groups of enemies quickly.
Leave me alone!
Yeah, it's kind of like Corvo is a rogue and Emily is a warlock who's also stealthy and also kind of like Spider-Man. I love that you can play as either of these two characters, and you can even choose to play with no powers if you want to.
How many of your own subjects are you ready to slaughter? And what are you willing to become?
They both are very stealthy, however, and unlike the first game, you have a voice now, which really helps with the storytelling.
These bastards are working with Ramsay and the Duke of Serkonos.
Your base of operations is the Dreadful Whale, a ship at sea. From here you go on missions infiltrating mansions, working your way through streets of goons, all while trying to discover who has been setting you up and what your nasty aunt's agenda is.
Now, we both couldn't resist the urge to play as Emily because, hey, she's new. And as the story twists and turns, you get to watch a young Empress start to be shaped by the hard decisions she has to make. Who she chooses to kill, how she solves problems. It's a fascinating journey made even more interesting when you realize that your decisions affect your game experience.
Yes, and this game has a morality system of sorts, high and low chaos. Who you choose to kill or support will affect the game's multiple endings, as well as a few other things. Your chaos level, determined by your actions, will influence the world. So it'll be things like how many blood flies are in an area, or maybe even the number of guards in a certain point, and it even changes the tone in which Emily and Corvo speak.
Delilah has the throne, and my father is missing.
I think you'd need a whole other playthrough to get a sense of this fully, but just those little dynamic permutations make the game so fun.
Yeah, I love it when choice consequence stuff makes playthroughs different. And they're not always obvious choices, such as how I realized I could break into this black market shop, but naturally that meant I couldn't buy anything from there anymore.
Yeah, and it's handled in such a nice and subtle way. For example, one hostile NPC, Dr. Hypatia, can be killed.
That's what my father taught me, cretin.
But there is actually also a way to cure her of her affliction so she becomes an ally, but how you do that is for you to figure out.
I love it when games give you choices like this, and this game really has heaps of choices, which is a bit of a Bethesda hallmark, I think. Even down to how you enter a location. There are so many pathways now, and how you build your perk trees to suit your playstyle. The main reason I wanted to play as Emily is because she doesn't have that blink ability that Corvo has, which I felt was something you could really abuse in the last game. Instead, she does a slower tentacle leap called Far Reach. It does make her more easily spotted, but it still gives you that power to get up high and move quickly about the place.
Emily's other perks play into leaping higher and moving faster, but her powers are devastating. Domino is a great example where you can link together multiple guards and then take them all out with one attack.
She can also sneak up on enemies by shadow walking, which I regret unlocking Hex because it is too spooky for me. You really do have to commit to what you've unlocked and a playstyle, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't even unlocked some of her other control powers like Doppelganger and Mesmerize because it's just so much to upgrade and play with. This is such good stealth gameplay, isn't it, Bajo?
Yeah, it's so good. It's near perfect. In fact, I just love that you don't have to sit around waiting for timers to count down. You know, this is stealth in pure daylight.
There's someone there.
And when you're spotted, you're encouraged to do something about it, or you'll probably just die.
This can't be! Outsiders carry on!
I love that. I love that this is all about line of sight, and it's so easy to be spotted that you have to find all these creative ways to avoid getting seen.
Yeah, and if you do get into a fight, the swordplay feels quite elegant. Enemies will sidestep for an attack or dodge and just generally keep you on your toes. Plus, having a mix of your abilities, a crossbow and a pistol keeps combat interesting whether you're stealthing and setting up traps, or just having a hectic sword fight.
You little shit!
It's great swordplay, how you can block and knock enemies off balance. All the movement is so smooth and fluid too, as you leap about,
Come back here! Won't get away!
climb into small windows.
Dunwall always has a way of turning sour.
You just feel so connected to these characters with the controls, and it's such a pleasant thing to move through the world as Emily El Corvo.
Yeah, and what a beautiful world it is too.
The jewel of the South, my father's birthplace.
Set in the new coastal city of Karnaca, you're climbing about these gorgeous and detailed streets, clambering through derelict homes and luxurious mansions. It's just so well realized.
Yeah, I totally bought into this world, and there's so much detail to appreciate as well. I especially loved the Clockwork Mansion mission. We had to pull all these levers to literally move the walls and floors around to get through it. It was full of great little puzzles and clockwork soldiers, which posed a tough new challenge to your classic stealthing as well.
Unauthorized presence. Enemy at rear playback.
The character design and art is quite striking too. We recently spoke to the game's art director, Sebastian Mitzel, about the look that they were trying to achieve for this game.
Karnaca is the southernmost port in the Empire. Once proud, but fallen into disarray.
One of the main focus was to keep the visual pillar of Dishonored, and we decided to create a Victorian city, but more tied to the south, so at the southern edge of the world. And it's all more stylish in terms of colors. It's not only the city, it's also the atmosphere that is different. You know, it's a heavy, sunny atmosphere. It's not a place where you want to go in holidays.
I've got to get out of Dunwall.
This is the same approach as Dunwall in Dishonored 1, but, well, it's twisted in some other ways.
Give me the dog's breakfast of the whole thing.
On the level design side, it's level architects that are artists and level designers that are systems guys, and they work together on one mission during 4 years. So they really know each other, and you have the best of the art and the best of the fun side. When I started in the game industry, it was one guy, and at some point he has to choose if he does something pretty, but it's less fun, or really fun, but it looks like crap. We've just pushed the boundaries of the detailing the world
We had the chance to move from a generation of console to another. So we did our own engine that allows us to detail, you know, way more than what we did on Dishonored 1. Everything we craft for our game is meant to be feasible in real life. This is one of my philosophy. I want it to feel true in game, and when you see the results, first time I saw it, I was like, ah, it's cool because it works.
Who would build something like this, and why?
The visual design is just so welcoming. I could not spend enough time with this game, Hex. And the menus, even the menus are elegant as they swish and move about. And I spent quite a bit of time in those menus, Hex, because it was a real challenge getting this game to run smoothly on PC.
Yeah, the PC version had quite a few technical issues on release. It was a bit of a mess, actually, which is such a shame.
Yeah, I was so frustrated. It really ruined the first day with this game for me because it would drop from like 90 to 20 frames per second in the big open areas. And that would actually kill me sometimes because abilities weren't activating in time.
She's dead.
Also, a few sections made the game crash to desktop, so some patching needs to be done.
Yeah, I find it so hard to understand why such a big game like this can have such big widespread issues on release. There must be an explanation.
Yeah, well, anyway, most of this may be fixed by the time this review goes to air. That aside, it is such a great game. You're always being challenged to think hard about your next step with sometimes very little guidance besides an objective marker. You're pressured into getting past barriers like walls of light or tough guard sections you need to carefully penetrate.
Clearly, Dr. Hypatia's not seeing patients anymore.
This is such a great game. Ignoring all those PC launch issues for the moment, I think of it as a big puzzle box. You know, you need to break your way in there and solve all the little puzzles, and then often you're trapped in there and you need to break your way out. So I'm gonna give it 4.5 out of 5 stars.
Yeah, it's just so much more fleshed out than the first Dishonored in every single way. I mean, there's just so much more to do and explore and discover and appreciate. I'm giving it 4.5 as well.
I want you to sneak up on me, if you can. Not sneaky enough for me.
Do you think it's a virus?
No, it looks like an isolated incident.
I'll show you isolated incident, you got.
Enter analysis mode. Where did the existential crisis occur?
I improvised by analyzing my motivation and backstory. Also, I realized how beautiful the sky is.
That's weird. I made sure we re-upped his backstory before redeploying him. His personality shouldn't be so insecure.
Yeah, also, has he had some kind of upgrade or something?
I think it works.
Sure. Enter command line. Did you name the game for this week?
Aye.
We can fix that.
Thank you.
It was Donald Duck Goin' Quackers from 2000. This shiny platformer, clearly influenced by Crash Bandicoot, had Donald questing to rescue Daisy Duck from the clutches of the evil magician Murloc. And it was outnamed the game because it was from the house of Ubisoft Montreal, the same studio behind this week's Watch Dogs 2. Haven't they come a long way, Bajo?
Yeah, it's a natural evolution for the studio, I think, Hex. Don't forget, our Name the Game competition closes this Friday. To enter, we want you to send in a short video that asks, did you name the game for this week? And the winner will win a box of mystery goodies.
How could you resist? For more information on what you need to do, you can check out our website. Next week on the show, we find out if absolute power corrupts absolutely in tyranny.
Show mercy or crush all who defy.
And we have the ride of our lives in Planet Coaster.
Plus another birthday bash as we celebrate 25 years of Blizzard. Indeed, Hex.
Murloc. That's my Murloc noise.
25 years later, the Resistance has become a revolution.
So until next week, Bajo out.
Hex out. Now, as a serious WoW fan, I'm shocked you never actually ended up playing Legion, did you?
Oh, didn't have time, Hex. I was taking a break from the show when it came out, and now my character's sitting there with worthless gear. I need to play it. Technically, I'm worthless because my character is there with worthless gear. I feel worthless.
I feel like the game is designed in such a way that you'll get right back in and all of your gear will no longer be worthless in, like, you know, a matter of days.
Holidays coming up. Gotta settle into that chair groove. Oh, yeah.